I can move this way.
Yeah, you got it. Good. So it's just going to be ACNC.
Starting where?
It's going to start with the one argument. That's why you have to include all humans. Yes, all humans, and then it will go the first justification for impartiality.
That's me. Oh, no, okay, that's where you're starting. Sorry.
Yeah. Ready to go?
Yep.
Hang on just a second.
So yeah, just for clarification, it's going on the reason as to why negative has to defend all humans, and then the first justification for right under value.
Got it.
Ready to go? Ooh, gotta set the timer. That would usually help me.
I got you.
Extend the first point that the resolution presupposes the extensive rights to all humans. We debate the next step. Criminal societies on the fact that all humans possess certain rights, but not animals possess this resolution question. Even if this isn't the case, that's all humans are due basic rights. He's agreeing to this point. If I show that the NC doesn't acknowledge all humans, then it's going to be taken out. His only argument is that the NC does this. So then we can debate that. Go to the first point under the standard. Extend the first point. For justice of duty deserving may only regard relevant factors. Arbitrary application rule. This is the first justification for impartiality. It must treat like case differently, deny the base for applying rules in the first place. When individuals are treated arbitrarily, it possibly give them their due since their treatment is dictated by irrelevant consideration rather than according to their deserves. Moreover, relevant factors for result of human bias, such bias must adopt where honesty best ensures that it's inconsistent or avoided. His only response is assume due and are not arbitrary. But first, this is not about this is not just why just matters. And say that we have to look to impartiality in and of itself. It's making an appeal to justice. The definition of justice would be giving these their due or making evaluations. My argument is that any evaluation would not have to regard these factors. I'm warranting that coming out of that. And second, this is different. I'm explaining why the NC is going to be going away because the NC is based upon ourselves. The argument coming clear out of this is that when we have to give ourselves a moral basis, this is just going to be coming out of justice to be arbitrary in the sense that it benefits ourselves before someone else. The NC is just claiming no warrant, but it's very intuitive and making the warrant as to why we can never benefit ourselves in any case of justice. Then, extended roles 2 and 3. Extend roles 2 and 3 that we have. The only way to be completely impartial would evaluate things behind the veil of ignorance where we don't know our own social status, we don't know what form of mental capacity we have, things that we do not choose are not going to be benefited for ourselves. Moreover, we're going to further this to the NC because the NC would actually be something situational where it says that this is the social status now. We appeal that only role 3 says that we can account for things that are of hypothetical nature. We prefer hypothetical nature to the NC because hypothetical distinction does not allow for any sense of bias to come in. This doesn't have to leave the affirmative framework. This is merely a reason to prefer the AC in the sense that I'm not allowing for anyone to give due for no clear reason. Now off Ross. First, we do not reflect. This is reason for pain, but my argument is that we can do these things for them in the sense that we can say that animals do these things on account of them. There's no reason as to why animals have to have the capacity to reflect and be behind the veil of ignorance. That link is just missing. And second, AC is based on going behind when no one has the capacity. So in the same way, humans we would not say have the capacity to be rational in the sense that humans never chose to be rational. Animals never chose to be irrational. If we're agreeing to that, that means that there's no reason as to why rationality matters. He needs to be doing that work in the last speech. Go to the terms. The terms are confused with resolution because A, there has to be no distinction. So extend the burden that is right under the Rawls analysis. The burden explains that we've assumed that all animals possess rights unless there's some more realm distinction arbitrary between it. If we say that killing is bad, we only say killing is not bad if there's some distinction in the sense of self-defense. That means it is the negative's burden to show a distinction. All I have to do is disprove that. That means that all the terms go away because they're not showing any distinctions. They're merely terms like trying to take out my framework, but they don't actually apply. And B, the offense shows no distinction. So if I explain why there's no distinction between humans and animals, then you are going to be affirming. The only term that might apply is because I'm extending Clarko as Humphreys. So off Humphreys 1. First, there is no warrant. We all want life, so there's no reason as to why there would be anything conflicting in the sense that I would want life and so would animals, so that could be the basic right that we give to all animals. And second, the AC isn't that we're maximizing interest in the sense that we want to give everyone animals what they want. We can only give them basic rights in the sense that we give animals the right not to be punished or the right not to be killed. There's no reason as to why animals wouldn't agree to that. And the third pact has become very clear in CX that there's no reasons why these points would be conflicting. Humphreys 1 is not explaining any reasons why animals with like a fox and a wolf would be conflicting in their interests. So there's no warrant coming out of this. The fact that I give them all basic rights means that it's allowable. Now extend Clarko. This one dropped. This is different coming out of the top of the case. Clarko explains that when we look to the sense behind the veil of ignorance, we can never know any distinction that's going to be happening. But when we allow for distinctions coming in the negative case, like in our social status, we can always allow for some bias to come into this space. My own personal bias might come in when I say that this distinction is relevant because myself, the NC, but I did very hard because the NC explains that because we can speak now, that all animals have to speak. That means that Clarko is taking out any distinction, specifically the NC. I'm applying it to the NC. That means the NC goes away and I'm linking my framework. Go to the NC. Off, so group it. First, there are going to be different languages. There's no reason that's why languages have to be the base for this. So this means it would include people that speak a different language than me. If you don't speak English, then I can't truly interact with you. That means that the NC is going right there. Second, second, I can speak for them in the sense that we can account for animals in the first way. So you can turn the NC. Animals benefit society through their work on the field to being made delicious steaks. By using animals for their own benefit, they're giving back society, whether it be through their own work or their sacrifice for food. Moreover, whenever we domesticate animals, create vulnerability in them. That means I'm turning the NC. Third, we can interact without language in the sense that I can go yada 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 and then give Noah a hug, and he knows that there's some kind of compassion because I have to have feelings for Noah. So this means that we don't actually have to talk for him to know. And lastly, this assumes that the integrity of animals is being different, but this is just ignorant. It says that just because their integrity is different than ours, that we can't account for them. Habermas is not warranting why animals are any different.
What is the second argument you make on the NC that is a term?
It is that if you're talking about the integrity of the animals or accounting for them, we interact with them when we make them steaks or when we domesticate them.
Right, okay. Okay, and your argument on the terms is that they don't negate because they don't prove that there's a relevant difference.
Well, if maybe I'm confused with the terms just like you are, but if the terms are merely saying some reason as to why roles would go away, I'm already responding to those. And the terms aren't really, they might be terms under some like end-based calculus, but my framework is merely showing distinction. The fact that none of the terms showing the distinction between humans and animals means there's no reason as to why those actually negate.
Wait, if the argument is that the veal of ignorance would mandate that they're animals and...
Delicious veal.
Okay.
We can eat veal. That's why it turns NC.
Wait, what's the extension of Clarko?
Clarko means that any distinction is going to be accounting for our bias, so even if I don't win roles, this links directly to the meta-standard of impartiality.
Wait, so you have to win impartiality though, right?
No, it can link to both. Like, I can either win the... like, I gave reason as to why I prefer roles to the NC even if I don't win it. Right? Remember that? Where I was like, this is...
Okay.
Right, roles thing.
That doesn't make any sense, but alright. It's going to go ACNC. Actually, no, NCAC.
Well, VBI told me I'm running for myself out.
I don't know what you're talking about. It'll be an overview of the round, then overview on the NC. AC. Can I, just see your AC while I talk? Of course, thanks, man. Okay. There are two ways you can evaluate this round. If you think Drew is winning a non-arbitrary framework, then you will be voting negative off of the drop 2 and 3 turns on the substance debate. You can also vote for me on the NC, which is going to be doing better comparative analysis as to why my framework comes first. He has not done a good enough reason as to why, good enough justification as to why non-arbitrariness comes first. So, NC. Habermas one establishes the requirement for morality. The only way to generate moral evaluations via a community of interactive agents who are symmetrically related to all of the members of the moral community. At that point, we can make moral determinations via communication where individuals unite together to protect their individual integrity. But without these symmetrical relationships, the condition necessary for the communicative ethic cannot be sustained. Habermas 1 and 2 both present separate internal warrants as to why animals do not possess symmetrical relations with humans. Their status certainly matters, but there's no requirement to incorporate them into ethics. That is a game over for the athlete. If they prove animals matter, they cannot prove that they matter in the same degree as humans because the lack of symmetry. Drew is not doing a good enough job on the Habermas debate in order to actually win the debate. He says that no English means no interaction. He's not understanding the warrants in Habermas talks about how there needs to be symmetrical relations in order for us to reciprocate rights, in order to have rights within a community. He talks about in order to have these types of symmetrical relations, there needs to be linguistic interaction through social institutions, the ability to interact with others and reciprocate those rights. It's not just language, but it's rather the ability to talk to others through these types of social interactions. So a very good way to explain this would be the world, any sort of world economic interaction. When I talk with another person, I understand that those person has value towards me, and that is what's sufficient because we are talking through a social institution that we understand the value of each other. Animals do not have this ability because all that matters to them is the fact even if they only matter to us because of their pain and their own well-being and things like that. This is why he specifically says that the type of well-being or type of integrity that matters is less deep-seated than that of the personal integrity that needs to be reciprocated within a community of interactive agents. Drew has conceded the internal worth of the Habermas one evidence. He says that we can interact with them by giving them rights and things like that, but this is not the type of social interaction we have. This is not a turn under the framework. He's not doing good enough application to the AC. Moreover, there's no warrant as to why we can interact with them. He has an empirical claim without a empirical warrant. Then he says that we can interact without language, but the only reason why a hug matters is because we have certain social norms in place that say that hugs and forms of affection are things that matter to that Drew's argument here is just a reason why the NC comes first, because in order for us to reciprocate rights, in order for us to have any sort of moral interaction, we need to have types of social norms and social agreements that tell us what things matter and what things will. I only know that Drew has feelings for me, and a hug is there are types of basic rules of flirtation, and I want to know when a girl or a boy has feelings for me because they act affectionate towards me. That would only matter via the social institution. The animals do not have that same sort of affection or same sort of social institutions that regulate or explicate what the type of interaction is. This is a reason you gave. Then he says that Habermas is ignorant about. I've extended the Habermas one evidence which explains the warrant. There's a distinction to the animals because they cannot reciprocate those rights because they do not participate in linguistic interaction. The social institution. Drew shouldn't throw out no warrant arguments without actually reading the evidence. But even if you don't buy that, he's only answering the Habermas one evidence. He is not. He has conceded the Habermas two evidence that the only way to involve animals is by assuming a personal identity that ascribes human qualities of an agent, which is the reason why there is a difference. The only way that animals can actually matter is if we assume that they are human, which is the reason why they are different themselves because we perceive them as an alter ego or an other. This is a conceded reason why I'm meaning the AC burner, which is even if you think I'm losing the NC framework, this is sufficient for you to negate on behalf because it indicates under an arbitrary framework, non-arbitrary framework, we would still negate because animals are just alter egos. We do not perceive them as anything. In order to give them rights, we have to perceive them as something different for ourselves, some sort of other, and that is the only way for their moral status matters. This is the reason why it negates. It's also the reason why it links it to the Habermas framework because it indicates that they do not have the ability to participate through linguistics because we can only perceive them as something as if we ascribe qualities to them, which means that if we have to interact and we have to use our language or for animals matters, which is another reason why his turns on the NC framework do not actually negate it. There's just a reason why you have to look to the Habermas framework. AC. First on the extension of his burden. Drew tries to go